Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2023 Italian Grand Prix live stream race watch along. If you're new here, welcome to the stream. My name is Blake, aka Break, former F1 engineer, now Formula 1 data analysis, making Formula 1 data easy to understand and bringing, honestly, what I think is a lot more layers and detail to what exists in the Formula 1 broadcast space to help you guys understand a little bit more, really focused on the tech and analysis. I won't lean too much into the drama, but I will bite every now and then. But really what we do here is focus on the technical aspects of Formula 1. And for people that are super interested in the sport and want to learn more, this is a really inviting space for new people. There are no stupid questions. The whole point is everybody at some point started watching Formula 1. And if you can gain more understanding about the technical side of the sport, what all the nomenclature means, what's happening, in a meaningful, easy way to understand, I think you will enjoy the sport more. So what we're going to do here today is it's a live watch along of the race. You guys watch along with me. You can see here on the right side of your screen, I've got the Italian Grand Prix timing tower provided by Multiview for F1. You can sync up and watch along, and I'll be talking about what I see happening in the race at the same time with you guys. So everybody, welcome to the stream. We are on the grid now. The drivers are talking, and let's just give a quick overview of the race. Pirelli think this is going to be potentially a one-stop medium hard or a one-stop soft hard. The soft optimum stop will be around lap 14 to 20 and the medium around 20 to 26, but we can definitely think about that a little bit further. Since it was an alternative tire allocation weekend, basically very few of the top running cars, or effectively none of the top running cars in the top 10 had they don't have a new soft tire to use. So most of our front runners have a new hard, a new medium, one used hard, two used medium, and two used softs. Monza, really low, typically low degradation circuit. We have higher track temperatures than we had the rest of the weekend. Will they consider starting on that used soft tire, or are they going to go for a medium soft or medium tire for the start that could be new? Also, I reckon the hard can possibly do an entire race on its own. So it's really going to be about, if you run the soft, can you get enough of an advantage early in the race so that when you pit, you don't pit into traffic and people that might have been on a medium end up undercutting you if they were behind you. So it's all about track position. Last year, we had one step harder tires, and the race winning strategy was a soft pitting on lap 26 onto a medium. Then to the safety car at the end. But a lot of people last year, we see a lot of medium hards, soft mediums, soft hards last year. Predominantly last year, a few two-stoppers, but a lot of one-stoppers in the fast end of the field. I think this weekend will definitely be another fast one-stopper. The pit lane time loss is about 24 seconds, one of the longest of the season, because you're going down the pit lane at 80 kilometers an hour while everybody else is blasting out of the high-speed final corner at over 200 kilometers an hour. So you're losing a lot of time in the pit lane here. You do not want to spend any time in the pit lane. Our grid, starting from front to back quickly, it'll be we've got Carlos Sainz. I almost said Max Verstappen. We've got Carlos Sainz on pole by the hair of his chinny chin. Realistically, I think the Ferrari should have been 1-2 looking at their laps. Max Verstappen P2, Leclerc P3, Russell P4, Sergio Perez P5, Alexander Albon P6, Piastri 7th, Hamilton 8th. Quite a far way off of their teammates are Lewis and Perez this weekend. Then rounding out the top 10 is Norris and Alonso. Stroll starts from the back. Both of the Alpines had a terrible qualifying session, and they were knocked out in Q1, and they're chilling in the back. So we're on board with Leclerc starting in P3. Just looking at the messages from the driver radios right now, it looks like everybody is on a medium. So we're in for a one-stopper, ladies and gentlemen. It's happening. We're in for a one-stopper. So another thing to talk about is, because we have the cost cap restrictions, very few teams actually brought a new low drag full rear wing assembly. Red Bull have only trimmed their medium downforce rear wing. Looking at the tires, hard runners, Hamilton out of position in P8 on a hard, Bottas down in P14 on a hard, and Magnussen also down in P19 on a hard. And we are pulling away now for the lap of formations. That Rolex clock is about to tickety tick over, and people are going to start moving very, very shortly. Anybody that's new to the stream, welcome. Glad to see so many new faces, old faces. Patrick Kunstler asks, are we expect to see Red Bull with lowest deg? I reckon we will definitely see some low deg. Yeah, it's good to see you as well. Sabu as well. Hello, bro. CK. Plan 30 seconds delay. If you're watching this along with multi-viewer, you can be synced up with me. If you are on a 30-second delay, just check your sync offset. And if you're on 30 seconds, we'll be good. Gesundheit. So I'm just gonna read through Max's lap to grid instructions from GP. So formation lap procedures, mode 12 for the dummy launch and the formation lap. Pit limiter off. The reason that Max doesn't need the pit limiter is because he's on P2 on the grid, and he will not exceed the pit lane speed limit by the control line, so he can do his start with the limiter off. He's launching off the grid in third gear. I think they're doing a higher gear to gather clutch data. They're not going to start the race in third gear. They're going to start the race in first gear. Then on the formation lap, look for around plus 15 on your rear left. Plus 15 on your rear left. So that is telling him there's targets, and he's probably telling him tire temperature targets for his tires. Lift and coast into turn 11, no more than 50% throttle from there. So they're trying to cool the tires after turn 11, saving fuel, coasting into turn 11. One long and then one short burnout. One long and then one short burnout. He's repeated. An extra ramp rather than coasting down into your start position. A ramp, maybe a throttle ramp to gather information on how the throttle response feels. I'm not sure. Tsunoda looks like he might be stopped on track. He's pulled over. He's got some smoky. I think they can recover that very quickly, but they might have an aborted start. An engine failure we've got. Engine failure from Tsunoda on the formation lap. I think they're going to abort the start and do another formation lap, possibly, which will mean anybody that's losing on fuel will probably be okay. So Tsunoda's getting out of the car. We will probably have another formation lap. Design with Simon says Lawson is already beating his teammate. Wow. Aborted start confirmed. I believe we'll wait for confirmation, but they will also drive around. So if you're looking at the race control messages in multi-viewer for F1, it says pink headrest material must be used. So there's two different headrest materials, one for higher temperatures and one for lower temperatures. So what I believe this is there's one material that works better at cold temperatures in terms of absorbing impacts and protecting the driver's head. The headrest is a thin layer of carbon over this foam, and it's flexible. Now, Miguel asks, will they have enough fuel? So as they do the second formation lap, this will count as a lap. So that when the race goes to start, we'll be on lap 2 starting the race, and this additional formation lap will save them fuel. So Leclerc says, my car's not really turning so well in the right-hand corners. Is everything okay? And the engineers confirmed to him that everything's good. One thing that you might look at there is your performance engineer will probably look at the suspension travel and the anti-roll bars to see, is the suspension symmetric? Has something happened? Is there anything binding? But usually on these cars, we don't have problems like that. Red Bull powertrain's in trouble? Unlikely, but these things do happen. There we go. If you're enjoying the stream, do give us some love on Twitter or tell your mates about the stream. But here we go. Here we go. We're pulling around. We've got the final cars pulling on. I am on board with Max Verstappen with one of my onboards, and I think I am going to watch Lewis Hamilton on the race start. He's back there a little bit, and we can see a lot more from his point of view. Formation lap, Christian standing there, getting ready to go. Last cars are moving closer to their grid slots. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Is this going to be Ferrari W's or Ferrari's big L's? I am currently running the international broadcast, the Crofty Sky broadcast this weekend. I like to alternate between them. Now, green flag man is walking. He's having a little look at the back of that Haas. Red light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights out. How are the starts? Not bad from the Ferraris. Nope. Max is slotted in, but are we going to have chaos in turn 1 or not? Sainz leads. Verstappen on the outside for turn 1, inside for turn 2. Russell getting a little bit bullied. Perez hanging in. No dramas. Turn 1, no dramas. Albon's dropped a spot and Hamilton's dropped a spot at the race part. That's it. Nothing crazy. Hulkenberg up 3. Sargent up 2. Ocon up 2. Second chicane. Everybody's well behaved. There's some flares in the, or some smoke bombs in the grandstands there. How do we get a clean start here? Albon and Piastri pretty close to each other. Albon coming through. Albon coming through on the start, or on the start-finish line. I think Piastri's going to get gobbled up on this next straight. Sainz leading by 0.7 of a second. Anything crazy going on right now? Hulkenberg started P13, I believe. Albon and Piastri going down to the second chicane. Albon on the outside, braking deep. Does he give enough space? He's safe. He gets Piastri done into turn 4. Albon in P6. McLaren's running 7-8. Hey guys, Stroll's made up a position. The race has started. We're currently on lap 251. We lost a couple laps due to extra formation laps. Yuki retired on the first formation lap due to an engine failure, and he caused the offset. So DRS has enabled a lot of drivers getting instructions or suggestions on control systems changes. Leclerc's going pretty quickly, but he's 0.7 off Verstappen. Sainz had a great start, by the way. Liam Lawson's getting instructions to take a step back on the corner entries and focus on the corner exits. Basically, he's going too fast in and losing out on the exits, and the exits of these corners usually lead onto long straights. You definitely want to focus on the straights. So Perez has a gap to Albon, and then behind that, everybody's pretty close. Our top 5 are within 4 seconds, all within DRS range except for Russell. Russell's out of DRS to Leclerc, which is not particularly surprising. If he can somehow gain DRS again, it'd be pretty useful for him to hang on to that. But I think these top 3 are going to run off. And it looks like Leclerc maybe easing up a little bit. I don't think it's pace. I think he's just easing up right now. Max already reporting that Sainz is sliding. We did see that in the qualifying data analysis. If you watch the qualifying analysis stream, we saw Ferrari on the lower downforce in this instance, a little bit struggling on corner exit, getting the throttle down. Ooh. But will that have a significant impact on their race start? Everybody pretty much on mediums except for Hamilton and the fast bunch. Sainz has been told, Max has been told to look after his rear axle, which I don't think he has. A game of tire deg? Maybe. I think this will come down to maybe not outright tire deg, but people forcing mistakes. I think the front runners are usually pretty cool. Russell's not close enough to do anything silly. Hamilton's message says there's no brakes. That's rigged. Not sure what that means. I think that's a translation issue on the chat. Most of the engineers are just telling the drivers gaps right now. So Hamilton suggesting he's struggling with tire temperature. Right now, Hamilton's gap to Norris is within DRS. Verstappen's got fastest lap of the race at 25.7. Last lap 26.1. Sainz last lap 26.4. So Max probably having a look at Sainz pretty soon. He's got DRS. He's really close down to turn 1. Sainz is forcing him around the outside of turn 1, but he's got the inside of turn 2, but you got it easy to get that door closed on you. So Max knew he's got to keep his front wing out of that and yeah, avoid losing a front wing. Sainz intimidating. GP tells him, find your time. It's a matter of time. Don't be sensible, but don't lose time to Leclerc. Very, very wise. Sainz being very deliberate on placing his car and using the road. I think that was fine. So I don't know, if we go back and look several years back, maybe you can or maybe you can't do that. I'm not sure, but I think that's fine. You're gonna have a little bit more alongside to have a go in that chicane, I reckon. I think that was solid. Formula Bastard is on. Exactly. We love Formula Bastard. This will be a race of Formula Bastard, I reckon. I think if Max does that again and he's fully alongside or ahead of at the turn in for the turn 2, then that will be naughty. Albon DRS train? Not really, because Albon has a gap to Piastri and Norris. There is no train. Stats from Crofty, 7th different F1 race leader this season. Can we make that was naughty a channel point prediction or channel point redeem? Yeah, for Twitch, absolutely. If somebody clips that and sends it to me, I'll add it over to the Twitch stream. Verstappen still 6/10. Brundle talking about battery modes. I think Sainz will probably be saving a little bit of deployment for down to turn 2. But realistically, is Max's opportunity not into turn 4 rather than the first chicane? A little bit further back is Max, but he'll close that gap up by the braking zone a little bit. George defending to Perez, but Perez backing out a little bit and repositioning. Perez is going to have another look into turn 4. Max understeering a little bit into turn 11, says Sabu. Good comms. So, winners and losers so far. Hamilton's down 1. Hulkenberg and Sargent are up 2. Ocon up 2. And Stroll up 2. But those are just kind of shuffles around as Hamilton is the only one that's lost out. And Tsunoda has retired. I appreciate that, America's Choice. Where is Alonso? Alonso's P10. He started P10. So on board with Max into turn 11. He's closing up on Sainz. Sainz having a little wobble there at the apex of turn 11. I think those tires are starting to get a little bit sleepy. He's pushing. They're both pushing. If he times, I mean, Sainz is going to take the inside into turn 1 for sure. Max trying to control the gap and get a better drive out of 2. But now they're basically pushing back into Leclerc. Leclerc also in DRS on Max. So Russell's engineers told him to save tires in turn 6. That is the first of the Lesmo corners. But realistically, you can manage tires in that corner because it's not like you're going to get an overtake done by a car that's similarly paced through 6, 7. You might have to worry a little bit down to the chicane at turn 8. I think you could save a little bit more tires at turn 6 potentially there. Yeah, Perez needs to get past Russell. Now let's watch the turn in for turn 11 for Max this time. Looks pretty stable. A little snap there at the exit though for Max in the dirty air. I think GP telling Max mode 8 was probably either telling him to go to an attack or a defend mode, or telling him to go back to a neutral mode because he spent enough laps pushing and spending energy to catch Sainz. But I feel like Verstappen and Leclerc are faster than Sainz right now. Do you think something's wrong with Stroll in general? I don't think Stroll is up for it, and especially it's the same kind of situation. You put an elite driver with an okay driver, and I think Lance is an okay driver. There's going to be a huge gap, and it's going to look like the struggle. But where's the car? Is the Aston Martin a P10 car or a P18 car? I think the Aston Martin's a P10 car, and Lance is definitely a huge enough gap to Alonso. Typically, modes are the same. Most of there's a standard mode and several offset modes, which are the same every race. But I can't tell you what they are now because I don't remember. Max not too thrilled about how fast the Ferrari is, but that is the Ferrari. Leclerc's backed off. He's plus 0.1 or 1.1. Perez on Russell is trying. Russell holding the inside into turn 1. Oofed. Go on, Russell. Alpine, Gasly in for his first stop. I don't think you want to be stopping on lap 11. Hamilton getting some gas from Bono. That was a good lap. Alon Hamilton's last lap. It's all right. Hulkenberg's losing grip a little bit as well. Leclerc's been given a brake balance suggestion. Yeah, Leclerc's out of the DRS. Russell's out of DRS. Perez still putting pressure on Russell here as he goes for a look into turn 1. You're gonna have to find a different way around that, but the car leading will always defend the inside into that. This race should be a one-stop race. If you're two-stopping this race, you are not fast. Without safety cars, obviously. I mean, Perez, like Grim says, Perez struggling to overtake, not ideal, but this is going to mess up his race because Perez should be on Leclerc's ass right now, but he's not. Yeah, I mean, Leclerc, exactly as you say, Henny. Leclerc definitely now will be like, right, I'm not going to hold on to them and burn up my tires, but I'm also not losing out on them. I'm going to take give a little bit of a breather. It will help the car stabilize a little bit by not being right up Max's gearbox through turn 11 and turn 6, 7. But yeah, Verstappen definitely deploying more energy. Sainz a little bit in the middle of the battery. And this is a new AWS graphic on the screen right now as well. I'm pretty sure that was an AWS graphic. Or a FOM, yeah. I think it was an AWS graphic, though. Maybe they didn't sponsor it. Can you see battery charge in Fast F1? No. Lawson up into P11, just one slot outside of the points. He's got a 2.9 second gap to Alonso. And his fastest laps, or his last lap, is good enough to start closing the gap. Oh, no, it's not actually. It's not. Alonso is still slightly faster than Lawson, so. If you two stop this race, it's not the way. The degradation is super low, and we can tell that. Max's fastest lap, a 25.7. Last lap, a 26.6. Both George and Perez going off the escape road there. Oops. And he's got him. But they both drove off the track. What's going to go on? They both drove off. I want to see the replay on that. Let's see the replay on that, because there's no way we can call that. What are you doing, bozos? I mean, By the fact that both George and Perez went off, without seeing the replay, I will assume that George did indeed push him off. So Perez around the outside of turn 1, brakes quite deep, and he just misses it. Perez outbraked himself, and Russell also outbraked himself. I don't. Max is having a look. Max wanted to look up the inside into turn 1, but no. Oh, look, Carlos with a huge lockup. Is that going to give him a chance, though? Max is really close at the exit of turn 2, inside of his gearbox. He's going to go around the outside of the Curva Grande, and he is side by side with Sainz going around the Curva Grande. Sainz is now pulling Max currently on the inside into turn 4, but what's going to happen? Max will get the advantage into turn 4 and hold that for turn 5. Max is now ahead, and I feel like that might be it. Sainz trying to have a look around Lesmo 1, but I think Max will now disappear into the distance. Sainz might have one more lap, but if that was a huge flat spot, Sainz is in trouble. Expected stop lap is somewhere before lap 20. Sargent and Hulkenberg have pitted, but I think that is Sainz' unforced error. A little bit. Yeah, not runs away, but walks away. Will he break DRS? No. Sainz will have DRS to slap, and Leclerc as well. Norris says he's quicker than Piastri. The two Ferraris DRSing each other. Perez is going to have another look at. Perez has gone for the inside. Finally for the inside. Yeah, no chance Russell to defend that. They need to swap the Ferraris or pit Sainz. Sainz is bleeding lap time. Leclerc's faster now. So both the Red Bulls getting the move done on a single lap. Perez has got a 3.4 gap to Leclerc, and he's closing that, but how quickly can he close it? I think Perez with clean air should be able to go fairly well. It was so wild through Curva Grande seeing Sainz pulling on Verstappen there. Sainz should have pitted, so he's a half-second gap to Leclerc behind him right now. Max has already pulled a 1.8. Max is pulling a second a lap on these guys. So Albon's stopped already. Albon did 18 laps on a medium, and now he's on a hard. Back in P13. Now, Chirac, there is no chance that to make the undercut work, you have to have more pace. And I do not think that Max will get himself into a position by which he's getting too much degradation on the medium there. So pit loss is about 24 seconds. So if, say, for example, Sainz pits now, he comes out around Bottas Ocon. Kevin Funk says, Ferrari need to swap them around. I agree. Perez down to 2.7 gap. Sapu suggests he's closing at about half a second a lap. Russell's still almost in DRS. Russell's just now fallen out of DRS on Perez. It's hard to tell what Leclerc's pace is right now. Sainz is certainly holding him up. Yeah, I agree completely. Like, sitting behind in this dirty area, you're definitely going to hurt your balance a little bit, lose some lap time. I think at this race, potentially Perez might end up getting both Ferraris, not just one of them, unless they let Leclerc go. If they let Leclerc go, he might stand a chance. What do you guys think? You feel me? If anybody's new tuning into the stream, welcome to the stream. We're on lap 19 of the 2023 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Max Verstappen has taken lead from Carlos Sainz. I am your host today, former F1 performance engineer, now current F1 analyst here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and everything else, making analytical Formula One content for you guys, answering the questions and using data, not just vibes. Yeah, Sainz has no chance to catch up. Leclerc has a small chance to catch up. Yep. Jesse, first time watching with you. Good morning from Mexico. Good morning. Why is the Ferrari pit wall so weak? I'm not sure. So Sainz currently on a medium. He's going to pit off of that onto a hard for sure. And he is in the pit lane. Leclerc is free. Leclerc's last lap was a 27.7. I reckon we're going to see Leclerc in the low 27s, maybe even high 26s with clean air. Russell has also stopped. But now Russell's going to be literally right behind Sainz. Yeah. Red Bull doing something in the pit wall as well, or on the garage with tires as well. Oh my goodness. They intended to be ahead of Bottas there, clearly, and they've come out behind him. Maybe we might... Hamilton had some warm-up issues on the hard at the start of the race. Potentially Sainz might need a couple of laps to get some temperature in that. Perez half a second off Leclerc right now. I think Leclerc's also spent quite a bit of his tires following Sainz. Max is pitting. He should come out just behind Alonso. Perez stays out. Perez is now unleashed. Leclerc's pit. Slow-ish front left for Verstappen, but he gets out ahead of Leclerc. Close. That wasn't too bad, actually. The front right was just very quick. So Verstappen just ahead of Sainz behind Alonso. 2-second gap to Alonso. Max on a new hard. Let's see how this thing warms up for him. GP tells Max to bring in the tires gently. They don't want to hit the hard too much and maybe grain it early on. But yeah. Oh, Sainz coming through on Leclerc. Leclerc on a fresh hard. Ferrari's fighting. Leclerc wants it. Good, clean. Side by side into turn 4. Backing off, playing it smart. He's going to force the error on Leclerc. Or on Charles, I think. Yeah, Leclerc's had enough. He's going racing now. Carlos was faster all weekend. He was. Perez in. Wait, is he going to come out in the Ferrari? Like, the Ferraris are probably losing a bit of time to each other, and I think Perez will come out ahead of them. Perez isn't really gaining in clean air. No. McLaren's lead the race right now, out of sync with everybody else. Hamilton hasn't pit either. Verstappen 3 seconds behind Hamilton. Perez comes out just behind. So on the tire graphics to the right of my screen, the H with a slash through it means it's a previously used hard tire. It might only have 1 lap on it though, but it's not the first time it's been fit this weekend. Perez comes out just behind the Ferraris. Yeah. So Perez probably, I need to look at that. Perez maybe with a weak in lap, costing him the position over Ferrari. Norris's pit. Piastri currently leading the race from Hamilton. Both of them have yet to pit Verstappen. Just bringing these hard tires in easily. He's currently about a second and a half faster than Hamilton on 25 lap old hards. I reckon Hamilton will want to be staying out quite a bit longer, so we might see Max wanting to come through on track. Hamilton closing to Piastri now, who's on a 22 lap old medium. Yeah, exactly, Grim. I think Lewis is going to be out until lap 35, maybe even longer. But, I mean, he's up 6. He stops now. He's coming out P11. Which will be effectively probably P11, P10 if Piastri pits. Alonso undercut? No, I don't think so. Russell completely understeering straight through turn 1 when coming out of the pits, forcing oofed. George is in trouble for that. But I mean, he can't give that position back now. Oh, side by side. Piastri comes out. Oof. Piastri comes out just behind him. That sucks. Oh, bonk. the McLarens didn't want to let that one go. Russell with a 5-second time penalty. Bonk. Max Verstappen chasing Hamilton. And Hamilton really wants to find the best opportunity to let Max through, because Hamilton's game is to extend this hard as long as he can, as long as he's not losing lap time on it. And in terms of top speed difference between the two cars, there's really not a whole lot. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Hamilton let that one happen yet. People who have not stopped yet. We've got Bottas, Ocon, and Hamilton have not stopped yet. Leclerc is 0.7 seconds up Sainz gearbox. I think Leclerc is clearly faster. Genuinely, Leclerc looks so much faster this weekend. At least in race trim. So Perez 0.6 on Leclerc, 0.6 on Sainz. Holy guacamole. If they had let Leclerc through, I really, really think Charles would stand a better chance of hanging on. Thoughts on Aston Pace today? Was Zandvoort a fluke? Turbo GSR, thank you for the $2 super chat, man. That is super kind of you. Let's just watch this Piastri leaving the pit lane real quick. Alongside his teammate, sends it in, doesn't steer into him too. He does understeer a bit. Oofed. Yeah. He did understeer into him a bit, but you know what? Hopefully he didn't damage Lando's floor. That would be a little bit naughty. Turbo, dude, thank you so much for the super chat. Aston Pace, honestly, Aston have gone from a super high drag, and then around Canada time, it looks like Baku, Canada, they had some changes to their front wing, potentially. So now that they're a relatively middle drag, middle downforce car, I think Zandvoort played to their strengths, but their strengths have changed since the start of the season. So I don't think that they're definitely underperforming here. Let's put it that way. But they also did terribly at Baku, if my memory serves me correctly. So it's hard to say. If anybody's new to the stream, just tuning in, welcome to Break F1. Former F1 engineer, talks about Formula 1 and tries to make data like easy and accessible to understand. If you've got questions about the sport, there's no dumb questions. Feel free to ask away. We'll do a lot of analytical content. We'll do deep dives into specific topics, and I'll try to, there's a lot of the stuff that seems super intimidating to try to understand, but I do my best to try and break it down for you guys to make it more exciting, because we've got a season where the results are quite predictable, but it gives us a really interesting opportunity to take a step back, stop focusing on the drama, and focus on the tech and the analysis and understanding what the data means. And then we're a much more intelligent Formula One community. So Hamilton dropping back behind Leclerc. Hamilton must be pitting soon. He's definitely starting to lose time to people on newer tires, but he's only 29 lap old. Yeah, Hamilton in the pits. He's done 29 laps on those hards. Verstappen sets fastest lap of 25.501. Oofed. So, I didn't see Hamilton's gap. It was around 6 seconds. Hamilton will come out ahead of Alonso for sure. Hamilton ahead of Alonso for sure, right? No. Side by side. No. So Alonso's on a 9-lap-old hard, Hamilton on a new medium. Both of those cars similar top speed. The Mercedes slightly faster, so I think that'll be all right. I don't like, some teams might slip into a 2-stop, but people want this race to be a 1-stop. You lose 24 seconds driving through the pit lane. Long stint on the mediums, 23 laps on the mediums. Let's look at what everybody else has done so far. So our longest medium stint was Ocon, 24 laps on a new medium. We've also had Piastri doing 23 laps. I think you're going to make your bed. Like, if you can just do it, you will do it, because you do not want to lose 24 more seconds to stop off. The different engine modes, it really depends. There's not a whole lot of variation in engine modes now. There's engine saving modes you can run in practice, but I'm fairly certain in qualifying in the race, you're very restricted because they've done away with the party mode, which gives you a lot of engine performance for a single lap, if that makes sense. Hamilton going through on Alonso, and I'm not too surprised to see that, honestly. Not surprised to see that, honestly. Yeah, Lewis isn't too thrilled about doing the rest of the race on these mediums. He's going to have to do the 24-lap stint on the mediums. Lower fuel on the medium, it should go better than the hard, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But at the end of the day, he will try his best to stretch that tire out to go through. Albon maybe starting a little bit of train. Norris 0.3 to Albon. He'll have DRS. Piastri 0.9 to Norris. So Albon causing a little bit of blockage, but even with DRS, Albon is still faster. They're going to have to force an issue with Albon. And I'm going to go on board with my second camera to Norris to watch him chasing that. Lord Haha, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Thanks for giving a chat to my F1 TV watch. We're glad to have you, man. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you're enjoying this. And do be sure, if you're just tuning in, lurking through on the YouTube lives, make sure to hit subscribe to the channel, and you can have some even more unique analytical Formula One content from a former F1 engineer. And to be fair, I've kind of been doing the same job that I was doing at Red Bull in 2021. I've been doing most of the competitor analysis as a independent person anyway, so I feel like former F1 engineer seems like I'm not employed by an F1 team, but yeah. Norris having to look up Albon there, but nope. The Williams just too fast in a straight line. Speaking of, Sargent up 2 positions. Looks like he's gained over Bottas and Hülkenberg. Locking up a little bit there. You don't want to be locking up, man. Suppose... Yeah, I don't know about the sports car thing. They're still doing the same job, just... Yeah. Exactly. Liam Lawson, P11. He's been hanging out there most of the race. Joe up 4 positions. Now, the question for me is, can Lawson take it to Alonso by the end of the race? Lawson on quite a bit older. Oof. Ooh, Perez coming for him. Perez had a look, but down to turn 4. He's going to send him around. He's sending him around the inside for the next corner. I mean, Perez is lifting off the throttle, up his gearbox. Perez going around the outside of turn 4. Oh, they touch, and he has a little wheel off in the grass. He's not going to like that. Oh, that's spicy. Give me some of that. Oof. Did you hear Perez backing out the throttle mid of the straight? Formula bastard. I mean, that was a... Leclerc didn't judge his space very well there. Leclerc, I'm the intimidator now. Maybe they didn't touch, but yeah. Yeah, Checo kept his front wing out of it, though. And Peter says, you're faster, you'll get him. Chill. I mean, Perez is going to try to go for the inside of turn 1. And he just drives around him in a straight line. Yeah. We're going to have... I mean, realistically, we're going to have a Verstappen Perez 1-2. Leclerc without DRS. Washed. Bro. Yeah, I feel like the Ferrari pit wall not picking a driver have had over... But honestly, it was probably inevitable. I think Leclerc would have had a lot longer if Leclerc had been set free from Sainz. Yeah, but now Leclerc's lost time defending. But Perez is ahead of him, and he's coming for Sainz now. Gap from Verstappen to Sainz is only 6 seconds. Probably everybody doing a little bit of management right now, though. Everybody doing a little bit of management right now, just trying to make sure they do that one stop. If you do a 2-stopper around here, you're in absolute trouble. So, what happened to Gasly? I have no idea. He's only 2 positions down from where he started, and he stopped again. I have no idea what Alpine are doing. Yeah, Alpine's... I mean, Gasly on a 2-stop from P17. I don't think strat is a code. I think strat is an energy deployment mode. Sainz is saying, I'm not sure we're going to make it to the end. And the engineer says, try your best. They need to be giving Sainz lap time targets and tire energy targets. And let's see what they're giving him right now. Let's see what the conversation looks like between Sainz and his engineer. So they're giving him some suggestions on brake balance. The tires feel bad. High speed position 2. Some diff settings maybe. Yeah, not really sure what's going on there. Try your best. Yeah, we believe in you. Signs. Sabu says, that's interesting. So he says, okay, Max, this is the phase of the race where we do exactly what we spoke about in terms of tire saving, turn 2 traction, and turn 11. I'm going to guess turn 2 traction is focusing on basically not hammering the tires too much over the exit curb and not doing too much combined. And then turn 11 will be about not sliding the rear too much on entry, I'm guessing. I'm thinking they're rear limited around here, or they're looking after rear degradation. So I don't think that's so much coded as just reminding him about what they talked about. Yeah, try your best is engineer talk for thoughts and prayers. That's exactly what I just tweeted. Max's fastest lap was a 25.2, and his last lap was a 25.6 on 14-lap-old hards. So, yeah. He's got a 8-second gap to Sainz, and Perez's gap to Sainz is now 1.9 or 2 seconds. So, But Leclerc is still on Perez's ass. So if Leclerc can hold on to this, he might buy Sainz some space in the end. Lawson in for a two-stopper. He wasn't feeling it. That's going to cost him dearly to anybody ahead of him. Any two-stopper is not going to have a good race here, I don't believe. You feel me? Albon's engineer giving a little bit of gas. They said, good job, man. The McLarens haven't gotten past us, and they're starting to struggle now a little bit. So Albon possibly coming home in a P6. He's got a 14-second gap to Russell. Russell's got a 5-second time penalty. So, yeah, the tires are one step softer than last year. So easy one-stop last year might not be an easy one-stop this year. And most people started on the hard or medium. Albon's defending this season. The top speed helps for sure. I think Norris's race engineer, Norris is not too thrilled with him, I don't think. I think also his normal race engineer is out and someone else is filling in. But it's just one of those things, like getting used to talking to the driver, and you can hear that a little bit in how his messages are not like literally bullet points. Not that different than 88 Monza. I was 3 years old and I wasn't watching Formula 1 until 2006. I think his old engineer might be on paternity leave. So I think a new family member's arrived and they've got a stand-in. But it's not a dig at him at all. I think it's just one of those things, like Lando usually very... I think Lando probably a little bit short with him, unfortunately. But he's like, get to the point today. Yeah, exactly. He's probably doing a great job. So what are the exciting stories right now? Hamilton is 3.3 to Piastri. Hamilton, 8 laps old. His fastest lap so far, a 25.5. I'm not sure what lap that was on. Last lap, a 26 flat. So he's doing okay on the start. Let's see how it goes. Teams don't necessarily strictly have a backup race engineer. I can tell you, I know who would do it at Red Bull, but I don't know what other teams would do. They might bring in a performance engineer and let them run the car and get another performance engineer to do the performance duties on the car. Yeah, Albon's race, I think, is the meat right now. I'm watching onboard with Lando, and it's just he's getting close to him but can't overtake. Bono, Lewis is saying, I'm not sure we're going to make it this long in the race. And Bono comes back to him and says, others have done it, so you can do it. It's just a little bit of a reassurance to be like, we can do it. There were people at the start of the race on a medium doing the exact same stint length. You can make it last. I think Lewis is probably a little bit frustrated that they haven't made up more positions. They are down 1 position from the race start. Leclerc and Russell and Perez all down 1 from the race start position. Norris up 2 from the start. That was the polite way of saying, no, he was confirming that you can do it. Lewis usually plays it like, we're not going to do it. And then he gets it done. Usually that is Lewis. But that's one of the dynamics of the race engineer. The race engineer is there to pull you up when you're like, man, let's be honest. This isn't Mercedes racetrack. This is not this car's racetrack. So damage limitation. Unfortunately, I think qualifying out of position and being P9 is not great. Lando, is he going to get close enough? He's getting deep in there. Then he bails out at the chicane. So, yeah, Lando's going to back off and let Albon have that back. You can't. The inside or the outside of turn 1 just isn't going to work. So Norris saved himself the aggro, let Albon have the spot back, and he'll go again. Any chance of Mercedes getting close to Red Bull this year? No, I don't think so, honestly. But I mean, I don't see it. Like, we've seen so many other moves there. Are you literally gonna do an overtake around the outside of turn one if you're not actually ahead? I know what the guidelines on overtaking say, but I don't think Albon has to open the door all the way. If it happened to Max, definitely they need to get out of his way. No, I'm just kidding. Is Stroll only at Aston Martin because his dad owns the team? Yes. But that doesn't mean he's not good enough. Jacob's got a good question. Do you see any other team winning the Constructors before 2026? Honestly, I think Ferrari, Mercedes could maybe have a look in the next 2 seasons, but I don't think so, honestly. I think Red Bull, because they're so confident and they've got a philosophy that works, Mercedes are still trying to figure out what their car design philosophy is, and we're likely to see another side pod and everything else. If they hit it, fine. But Red Bull don't need to change as much to maintain development. So Lando is getting converted to a 2-stop. Box to overtake Albon. Albon's on 26-lap old tires. Albon is going to the end. I don't think this is a box to overtake. I think this is a box to lose 24 seconds. But that's not a dummy call. Box to overtake means if you stay out, I pit. If you pit, I stay out. That's not. Lewis is making up some positions, half a second to Piastri. Is Hamilton going to come through this? Perez having a sniff at Sainz. Leclerc still on their gearbox, though. The team radio does sound this bad in real life, yeah. And most of the team radio quality is down to the microphone quality and placement in the driver's helmet or balaclava. Ocon retiring? Not surprising. They could have done that on lap 2 and saved a bit of engine. Hamilton around the outside. Oh, they collide! Oh! No, he had nowhere to go. He had nowhere to go. He's touched Piastri. Is Piastri done? Yeah, Piastri's boxing. Let's see that replay. I don't know what happened, honestly, but that was chaos. We had a collision between Hamilton and Piastri. Piastri's front wing is completely broken. We're on board with Perez, who's going to have another look at Sainz into turn 1. Hamilton penalty incoming. Let's see the replay. Let's hold off. But I got the impression Piastri didn't have anywhere to go. Yeah, Perez is in the exact same situation as Max at the start of the race. 100% correct. You've got to be inside into turn one to make it happen. That's going to be a long stop for Piastri. That's going to send him out way nowhere. Replay with Hamilton. Like, what is Hamilton doing there? Sky always defend the British drivers, do they? Yeah, not dirty, but a mistake, for sure. Exactly that. It wasn't deliberate. It's just situational, positional awareness. So Perez is saying Sainz is moving quite late on braking. Okay. Sargent in the points? Possible. It's possible. Sargent's currently in P11. Interesting. All the drivers are going to be politicking on the radio to be like, the other guy's doing something wrong. This is normal. Albon holding on to P6 right now. 20-second gap to Russell, so a little bit of separation there. How should Carlos overtake Max? Interesting question. So I guess that was probably... He says the same happened to Max, so I'm guessing at the apex of turn one, into the transition into turn two. Perez on the inside for turn two, not having much track. It's fine. Hamilton 5-second penalty. Done. Slam dunk on that one. I think not a deliberate move, but if you cut across another car in braking and send them to the back, you're getting a penalty, man. So Alonso's got 40 seconds. Hamilton's got 40 seconds to Alonso. Or sorry, 3 seconds to Alonso. Yeah, he'll be all right. Carlos is being intimidated. On board with Perez right now into turn one, lap 45. Perez going around the outside there. It's a good move. Perez backs out of that. I mean, you're not going to make the outside of turn one happen. Did Perez just lose something off his car? Hamilton on Norris. Oh, and he's got the Willies behind him, or ahead of him. Boxed in, but got it done. Hamilton through on Norris, and Hamilton needs to get as much gap as he can. Perez definitely broke something on his car. Ferrari strategy, fine. Good. Normal good. Not bad. Perez wanting a little bit more space, but so Brundle's suggesting that if you're alongside, you should be given a little bit of space, but Sainz, he's going to go over. I mean, Sainz doesn't want to let him have the inside. Now, I mean, he's far ahead, and Perez has switched back, got the inside. Sainz locks up a little bit again there. No big deal, but now Leclerc needs to come through on him. Leclerc needs to get the overtake done on his teammate. Perez now in P2. Perez is going to run away with it. Hamilton having a look at Albon. I mean, Hamilton might have a slightly harder time on Albon than he did on the McLarens. Genuinely. Five to go on the next lap. I really think, looking at it right now, I think Hamilton's going to have a really difficult time overtaking Albon. You've got one of the slowest straight line teams and one of the fastest straight line teams. Leclerc through on Sainz, and Sainz is going to have a look up the inside into turn one, and the inside of turn one will give him the advantage. Are they going to have a little wheel bang here? Yeah, Leclerc with a little lockup. Sainz behind him. Oof. Oh, and then side by side through turn three. Ah. Too much emotion. I mean, are we going to see an... Oh, lockup with Sainz. Did they both go off there? Yeah, they both went off the road. That's a great way to save. It's like, well, you didn't gain an advantage relative to the person you were racing, but easy. Hamilton is through on Albon. It's been done. Albon with 34 lap old hards. Hamilton with 19 lap old mediums. Now, Hamilton is going to lose 5 seconds, and that will send him back to P10 currently. Let the Ferraris take each other out, yeah? Leclerc, outside turn one? Nope. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. Dude, this turn 1-2 is so slow. So slow. I don't know. I think Williams have a great driver in Albon, and Sargent's probably pretty decent, but the car is not great still. Replay of Hamilton on Albon. Hamilton going the long way outside turn one. Yeah, Hamilton's got the penalty. So Hamilton outside turn one. Did Albon... I mean, Hamilton was ahead at the apex of two, so... Yeah. Albon drove that well. He didn't have the right to bully him off there, honestly. Can Norris come through on Albon now? Look, I mean, Sainz with the lockup. Both of them eating so much curb there at turn 1. Sainz is saying, guys, let's bring this home. Please stop intimidating me, is what he's telling him. Stop intimidating. He's intimidating. Let me have it, guys. Carlos the Intimidator. Sainz seems like they're always asking for it. It goes both ways. Hamilton with a pretty, honestly, with the exception of the wheel bang and getting the penalty, Hamilton with a good recovery drive. He's going to have to go quite long on these mediums. He's got 2 laps left. 24, 25 laps on this, fine. Piastri on board against Lawson. I mean, he didn't really have a prayer in that. Piastri's going to have to give that one back. Piastri stayed ahead of him. Leclerc's being told, race until the end, but don't take any risks. Verstappen's time's dropping. Interesting. Do we have any radio from Max? Max has just been given the final lap message. I don't think he's... No, nothing off with Max, I don't think. 28.3. Oh, Leclerc! Leclerc's had enough, yeah. Tire is critical. Imagine he takes him out. Baku 2018's him. Hamilton will hold position. Yeah, Hamilton will finish P6 if it stops the clock now. Yeah. Jesse B's just been told to hold careful. Has he done it? Ladies and gentlemen, has Max Verstappen done it? Is that the 10? Ooh. I mean, that is super cool. We're seriously witnessing history. It's an amazing car, one of the best drivers on the grid right now. He's done 10 races in a row as Leclerc tries to hold on to P4 without bending it in the final corner. So, not quite a photo finish. Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton will hold on to that even with the penalty. Good recovery drive from Hamilton. But wow. Max Verstappen, 10 race wins in a row. History has been done. Alexander Albon, P7. Norris, P8. Alonso, P9. Bottas in the points. Piastri, P11 after getting intimidated into the wall by Hamilton. Haas picking up the back 2 positions. Ocon and Tsunoda have retired, obviously. Stroll, P15. Yeah, not bad. SOC 5 is SOC 5, State of Charge 5, which will probably be a position, but yeah. Wow. What are your thoughts? What are our thoughts here? Chat, live stream on YouTube. If you guys have hung out through the live stream, I think this has been honestly, a record-breaking Formula One stream for my channels, currently sitting at 850 concurrent viewers. So, to me, thank you guys so much, and a very much significantly more important milestone for Max Verstappen. 10 Formula One races in a row, and the streak might not be over. Perez alongside of Max, showing him a bit of love. Red Bull's way ahead. Honestly, in short reflection, I really feel like Ferrari could have had a P2. Maybe I'm gonna go back and look at the data, but I think Leclerc was clearly much faster in the race. Maybe not on Friday. But Perez with a very good recovery drive, up 3 into P2. Red Bull 1-2 on the podium. That's wild. I'm very impressed by Albon. Lawson on that 2-stop. I'm sure that he couldn't stay out. Lawson 16 laps on a medium. Not great. That's an early stop. 23 laps on a hard. Not great for that late in the race. And then a 19 lap stint on or 19 laps on a medium. Maybe not total laps, but it's been used. So, yeah. An interesting race. Not a given. Some interesting battles. And some interesting chess games going on at turn 1. A lot of positions. For the most part, pretty clean. A couple of drivers just missing a little bit of spatial awareness. Nothing nasty today. I think a really good good drive. Yeah, it's a shame to see Lawson not take any points back. We've had our first Honda or Red Bull powertrains failure of the season. But yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Be sure to check out the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description of this video. And I'm thinking I might be back later this week for a race analysis stream. So we'll come back here. I'll figure out if I can get it done in time. And we will talk about the strategy and look at it with hindsight. We can go back and look at the data and talk through it. I'm thinking we're going to go back and maybe do this Monday night or Tuesday. We'll have the engine braking podcast as well. Be sure to hit that like button. And Frocious, thank you for the $2 Canadian. Thank you for the super chat, for the super chill watch along. I do appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support here. Thank you guys for hanging out, and a record stream for a record winning race. We'll be back. I'm not going to be here for Singapore. I will be in Glacier National Park in the US for my father's birthday, but we'll be back for the Japan. But we'll have plenty of content and videos here on YouTube in the meantime. I'll see you guys soon. And aim for Martin Brundle's job, says Red One. I'm not Martin Brundle. I'm somebody else. Martin Brundle's spectacular and excellent at what he does. But I appreciate you guys. I will see you soon. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, we'll see you guys. I'll announce it. And check you in the Discord. There's a link to the Discord. We'll see you in the Discord channel to keep up to date and in touch when we're not live here on YouTube. Stop intimidating me. I'll see you guys soon.